So I played in Vegas. I can't remember the name of the club, but I played in Vegas, and the next day I flew to Oakland, California to do the Oakland, California Arts and Soul Festival. And it was this big festival outside, and I opened for Climax. Okay. Like I did one show in early afternoon, and then I did one late afternoon. I opened for Climax, and there were some people there at the first show, but there was a lot of fucking people there for the second one. Like it was bananas. So I went out and I did, you know, it was the right time of day for dance music. People were into it. They were pumped. I did My Life and Foolish Mind Games, and by that time I had had a #1 record, Set It Free. I worked with, it was my first foray with Tony Moran. And then I did At Last. And that was really the cherry on top. That was it. The crowds, there's a YouTube video of it online.
Oh, we're gonna find that.
It was really, and at the very end of the song, something happened with the sound. How funny. Something happened with the sound and the music just stopped. And I just kept going. And they were like, leave it off. Let him sing. So I just finished the song, like the last, I don't know, 50 seconds. Wow. Just a cappella without any music. And it was outrageous. So I was playing a lot. And there were a couple more singles. I had another top 10. I had another top 5. There was one single that was released, but they didn't do promotion. But then in 2006, the album finally happened. It took a couple of years, but the album finally happened. And I was so proud. We worked really hard, and it came out really well, and rolled out. And my best friend called me one afternoon, and iTunes was a thing. And he said, girl. My best friend, Brett, he said, girl, you know your album's #2 on the dance albums chart. I said, what? I no idea. No idea. #2 for a month. It was #2 for a month. It was in the top 10 for 4 months. So people were responding, and I was playing a lot. And I had Len Evans and Jeff Dorter were doing press, and you know, I flew to Dallas to do a television show, and I was all over the place. I was all over the place, flying here, flying there. It was exceptional. I got nominated for an International Dance Music Award for Best New Dance Artist, and just being at that ceremony, and you know, when they did the nominees, you know, they splashed my picture up. It was really great. I didn't win. Fetty Legrand won. All good. I was just happy to be there. I was happy to be there. I felt fortunate. And we rode the wave of the album, and I continued to do shows, but then there was talks of the next one. What are we going to do next? So we put together a second album. It was called Flexible. I'm not very proud of it. There are only a couple of songs on there that I truly loved. There was so much drama happening behind the scenes that it just tainted the whole experience for me. It started out all right, but then it just got out of control. Like shit went off the rails. The wheels came off the wagon. I shot a beautiful video with Carl Giant for the first single. I did promotion myself because I spent so much time on this. I it wasn't gonna be for nothing. The album came out and the label disbanded. So there I was. I was without a home. It was 2008. And I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do? So I had met Quentin Harris at a junior event. And he came up to me and he said, Are you Jason Walker? I said, yeah. He said, I'm Quentin Harris. I was like, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you, because he did this beautiful mix of Foolish Mind Games. And he looked at me and he said, you are not what I expected when they sent that a cappella. Because they didn't say who it was for. Kevin Williams sent an a cappella to Quentin and said, we need a mix for this yesterday. And I love it. But he didn't know that I was a boy, and he didn't know that I was white. And we became friends, and we are friends to this day. I love Quentin, and we did some really great work together. He asked me to be on his first album, No Politics. We did a cover of After Seven's Can't Stop, and he asked me to be on his second album. We did a cover of Circles from Atlantic Starr, and he also included a song that I wrote about my nephews called Home. He's like, I want to do something to it, but I want it to be on the album. I'm like, okay, great. That's lovely. And those years following were up and down. And during that time of working with this producer and that producer.
Did you go overseas and travel with him?
Oh, I did. We played 2 shows in London. One was at a club I can't remember with Vivacious, and one was Ministry of Sound, which was a dream come true for me because I knew the history of that. It was like one of the cornerstones in dance music. So we did all that. I was still traveling, not as much as I was before, but I was doing shows with Quentin. I was working with other producers. But I also was writing a whole nother album, which would eventually become Leave It All Behind. And there are a couple of songs on the album that were written by other people, but most of them were either written by me or co-written with me. And I wrote, no, it was a pop soul album. It was just what I was feeling. And I wrote all of my songs while I was at work. So in between tables, it was weird because I could put myself on autopilot and I could talk to people and take their orders and go to the computer and ring them in after I'd written them down. All the while, I was writing these melodies and these lyrics, and I still have all of the little notebooks that you carry to take orders. I have all of the lyric sheets still, and I wrote that album and I put it out myself, and I did what I could. I did the best I could on my own, and I continued to work with other producers. I had a couple more songs on the chart. They weren't like, one went to 17. I did have another top 5 with C-Rod from Miami, Beat Don't Stop. But it wasn't like before. There wasn't a machine behind me.